until the point that I delivered her, I was in complete denial. Part of me knew what was going on, the other part didn't want to accept it.
I've always dreamed of this, of having a little girl named Madison and looking just the way she did. And when I saw her, I looked at her and I said, wow, my dream came true.
I thought that I was going to see her grow up too and walk her down the aisle. And something I'm never going to do. Never going to hear her talk. Call me daddy.
I didn't want to touch her. I didn't want to wake her up. So my thought was I didn't want to wake her up. Her mouth is one that keeps me smiling. She had her mouth open. It's just like she was ready to say something.
Mother's Day came around, you know, and it was so hurtful that people didn't feel that I was a mother.
Re-engagement for me was just completely throwing myself back into everything that I had to do with a reckless abandon.
My family and I, every year on their birthday, we have like a big family gathering. Everyone have their t-shirts and stuff on with the girls' pictures on it. And we just spend the day barbecuing and doing whatever, just showing love.
Good, we laugh about it. We'd be like, if she was here with you, both of you guys would be making me late because girls take forever to get ready. Me and my son would be sitting here on the couch waiting for all you guys. And
it doesn't get better, but it gets, you get to a point where you can handle it a little better, maybe.
We were so excited, and 10 days before I was supposed to have the baby, she stopped moving. And it was a very big shock to both of us. When I was told that she had passed, I couldn't accept it.
And then I was told that I would have to deliver her, which I didn't even know, having already, one baby and everything wonderful and fine, and my son is alive. I didn't even know how I would even begin to have a baby that was not alive.
Fine. And until the point that I delivered her, I was in complete denial. I had been crying a lot, and part of me knew what was going on, the other part didn't want to accept it until I held her in my hands, and she was so beautiful. She just looked like she was sleeping.
So my first question was, well, how? What do I do? What's going to happen to her? If they didn't let me deliver her, I would have never seen her. And that was just the best moment.
Deal with it. Pray a lot. I pray a lot. God, between God and my wife and my family, help me get through this.
Talking, through all the dreams that should be going through, just being a year old. Just saying the other day, she'd be running all over this lawn. And I think I lived through those dreams saying it out loud. And for some reason, when we speak it, we both have this smile, like if we see her in our eyes, we see her running across the lawn.
Think about, I have a son, 3 other daughters, and I get to see them grow up, and I thought that I was going to see her grow up too and walk her down the aisle. And something I'm never going to do. Never going to hear her talk. Call me daddy.
Good, we laugh about it. We'd be like, if she was here with you, both of you guys would be making me late because girls take forever to get ready. Me and my son would be sitting here on the couch waiting for all you guys. And
I was, asking myself if I did something wrong.
Seeing how beautiful she was, seeing how generous they came into the room with a pretty basket and pretty clothes, and just the smell of her was amazing.
They always say there's no manual for parenting, and there's definitely no manual for when your child dies and the things that you're going to think. And for me, I think just to deal with the shock of it, my brain was just trying to process through what's the very next step, what's the very next thing we need to do.
I've always dreamed of this, of having a little girl named Madison and looking just the way she did. And when I saw her, I looked at her and I said, wow, my dream came true. So that my thoughts were that my dream came true, and it didn't end in the way I wanted it to, but having her was my whole dream.
Letting her go was the hardest moment. At that point, we knew that she wasn't gonna make it, but basically the machine was keeping her alive. And just letting her go was the hardest thing I've ever done.
I didn't want to touch her. I didn't want to wake her up. So my thought was I didn't want to wake her up. So it's one of the things. Her mouth is the one that keeps me smiling. She had her mouth open. It's just like she was ready to say something.
Everyone is excused, at least for a while, to just let their emotions flow in whatever way is going to come out.
I kept praying that she would just out of nowhere take a breath and start crying and grab my hand. I kept putting my finger in her hand, but she never grabbed it. I kept hoping she would.
My family, they sat there and they talked to me. You know, some would just sit there and listen, and they wouldn't say one thing. You know, my husband never shut me out. And that's the one good thing about him. He never shut me out. If I had to cry, he would let me cry. He would sit by me. He wouldn't say one word. He would sit there and let me cry.
And my husband saw me in pain, and he had the loss of the baby, plus he saw me in pain, and I think he just wanted to fix it. And there's no way of fixing it. And I remember sometimes thinking, you know, what's wrong with him at that point? But it was his way of grieving, and looking back, everybody doesn't grieve the same way.
And that's all I needed sometimes, just to get someone next to me, just to let me cry. So my husband had his share of times, and everyone just kept to themselves, you know? They kept to themselves.
My best friend came in and she held them too. And it just meant the world to me because she wanted to share. She wanted to be there and hold them and see them too. It meant a lot. Because when things like this happen, not everyone that you think were family members or friends are there for you. That's when you know who's who in your life.
You have a lot of friends, and then when this happened, it seemed like your circle got smaller, and you could see the people that really cared about you and the people that were there. I remember thinking other people just felt uncomfortable talking about it or saying the wrong things, and it does affect your relationships because you just, I think, view everybody differently after that.
You become a new person. And I think sometimes people that have known you for a very long time and that you're very close with think that after a certain grieving period you'll go back to that person. And I didn't. And so, you know, friends that I had had for 25 years suddenly were not part of my life. And what has happened since then is that I've met other women and other families that understand and have experienced something. And it's really true when they say that when you lose a child or when you face a loss, then sometimes, you know, your friends become strangers, but then strangers become family.
I think a lot of people don't know what to say. One of my coworkers said to me, he's in the best hands that he can possibly be in, you know. And to me, at the moment, I'm like, what are you talking about? The best hands are my hands. How can you say that to me? A year later, I understand what she meant. And I know he is, but not at that moment.
I would find it hurtful when people would say, oh, you're young, you're going to have other children. You know, at least you could get pregnant. And I thought, oh my gosh, I went 9 months carrying a baby and you're telling me it's okay, just forget about it. At least you could get pregnant. There's women that can't get pregnant, or you'll have other children.
You know, life goes on. I hated the term life goes on. Because it doesn't. It stops at one moment. Yes, the bills pile up. Yes, you know, you have to wake up every morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have to clean. Yes, life goes on, but in my life, my world stops.
Saying less is better. Just a gesture of holding someone's hand or giving them a hug and you know they're there for you is better.
My family was very helpful. Family time. They would come, cook, clean, make sure my kids are taken care of, make sure that I'm eating, make sure that, you know, they were really supportive with what they would do just to maintain my health and make sure that I was in the right state of mind, that I needed anything. They were always, I have one sister and she was awesome. She was always, here's my shoulder anytime you needed it. For me, I honored my baby's memories. I never had a tattoo. I have got the first tattoo with Ambrosia when she first passed, and then I got my second tattoo when Amber passed. But every year, I participate with Anna Palmer and Winnie Palmer. I go out to their candle lighting and balloon and the butterfly. And then at the cemetery where my girls are buried at, they do a candle lighting and I participate there.
I went and I did that walk and the butterfly release. We're doing a bench at the Angel of Hope Park and I'm having my son's name on there. So I'm trying to do as much as I can. I want him to be, you know, acknowledged. And I feel as though if I can help someone else through that, I feel like I'm doing something for him.
My family and I, every year on their birthday, we have like a big family gathering. Everyone have their t-shirts and stuff on with the girls' pictures on it. And we just spend the day barbecuing and doing whatever, just showing love.
Let them know that they heal in their own time. Not to have anyone, you know, push them to move on or give them advice to, you know, you need to let go. That's
To be gentle with yourself and to know that you're going to have every emotion that you didn't even imagine and that it's okay. And
Tell a parent that's lost a child, and if they have any other kids, pour that love into your children. Just in your family. And the loss of my girls made us realize that you don't know the time, you don't know the hour, and you may not have that next 5 minutes to say I love you, that next minute to pick up the phone and call.
it doesn't get better, but it gets, you get to a point where you can handle it a little better, maybe.
and to honor your child, even though they were here for a short time, they're in your hearts for the rest of your life.